Okay, hello everyone again. This is video number 3 on how to do a simple leaderboard for your fantasy league or for your strat league. And where I left off is where we already have our players and our player stat tab. We already have our players from all our teams already copied over from all of our individual Excel sheets. And here's our average slugging and OPS percentage with the formulas in there with the minimum amount of bats. We have our concatenating names over here with our team abbreviations, so everything. And this is the leaderboard for my current 64 season. And again, this is what the final thing looks like when it's all finished. So we're in the players tab. And now we're going to write the formulas so that it can pull the averages from large to small. But it's only going to pull the averages that are in this average box, not the average box, not the average box in here. Okay, now what's cool is when you write these formulas with this equal from the other pages is every time that you put stats in, and I'm going to close this for a minute, every time that you put stats into your individual team sheets, into your team Excel sheets here, every time you open your leaderboard, you won't have to update that. That will auto-update every time you put in. So when you open it, and you open up your thing, it's going to say to you, do you want to update? And you update it, and then everything will fill in. The leaderboard will change, or whoever takes over what. And that's what's great about doing it this way with all the players in here from the Excel sheets, is that everything will auto-update. This is why I do it this way. Trying to go through all those Excel sheets to figure out who's the batting leader is way more work. This is way easier. So what you have to do is write two formulas. One is called an index match formula, and one is called the large. So we're telling it we want to pull the averages for the batting leaders. And this formula is pretty easy. What you're going to do is you start with your equals and you're going to say large. We're going to tell it pull the large numbers. And what we're telling it, and we put all these things in here to lock in the cells, is we say take V3, which is where the averages are in V3, all the way down to cell or row 800, which covers all the players from all the teams. And then we have a little comma, and then we say cell AA5. Now, what you have to do when you write a large or a small formula, doing it this way, is the AA5 is you have to put a position in here, and we're telling it to pull the top 5 numbers, the top 5 positions. You must put this in here, or else the formula will not work. So what I say to it is, okay, take the large number from V3, the averages, from cell 3 to cell 800. You're going to tie it to the position on AA1 here. And then all you do is you put the formula in, and then you just drag this down, and we'll put the formulas in the 5 cells, and it pulls the averages from this averages. It won't pull the blanks that people don't have enough batting. It's only going to pull the ones that are in there. The second part is now you want to match up the player to that batting average. And this is where you write your index match. And what this also says is you started with the equals, and it says, all right, we're going to write the index. And the index is column Y, cell 3. So the column Y is where I have all the names posted. And that's what you see here, the concatenated with the 3-digit abbreviations. And we say, okay, copy that down from column 3 all the way down to the 800, which covers all the spots. And we say, okay, now match that name. And then you write another argument that says, write that names to cell AC5, which is now your first position of the average, and match that average, and take it from V3 through 800, which is the averages again. And then I have the comma 0, and all it is letting it know that if there's an error, just for the 0, it just so there's no error. And the formula looks long, but again, what it does is that formula will match the name to that average in your column Y, or whatever column your concatenated player is. And then you just copy that down, and it will automatically, you'll automatically see the name that's matched to the average. If you don't see the proper name, then you either have the wrong cell in there, you either have one of these two, the match or the index is wrong, which is pretty easy. And then you do the same thing for everything that you want to write, which is the hits. And as you see here the hits have a couple extra numbers here, and I'll explain that. Just because when you write this, there's a couple formulas that it'll, if you have any duplicates, it'll put the same name twice. So what I do is, instead of writing all formulas for all these things again, you can write a multiplication that'll take any duplicates and add it, like a 01, 02 to any duplicate. That is way too much work. So all you do is, on your player stat form, you type in, let's say both players here had 59 hits. You type in 59 for one, and they hit 59.001, and that actually separates it so it knows to pull a different number, a name for a different number. And that's pretty much how you write that. And then you write one for every one you have here. And then on your pitching one, I have the same thing where I copied all the things down, concatenated, ERA, must have amount of innings. And then for the ERA, which you know are the lowest, you just, instead of writing an equal large, you just write an equal small and say pull the smallest numbers. Pretty easy. And then you just do that for all the pitching if you want the small or the large, and you do the same thing. And then I also have a team one, which the formula for this is, you just go to the page, you open up, you hit the equals, you go into each individual page, you go to the LA Angels page, you hit the equals, you open up the page, you go to where the average is, hit enter, and it'll pop in the averages so that they also auto update. And then on this side of the board, you write your same thing. You write your index match with your large for your averages. And now that you've done all that work, now you're ready to make, which is this, the leaderboard that will auto change. And the only thing that you need to basically look at when you're done, unless you want to update the players' number of at-bats, which again, the formula looks like this. Right now I'm saying 74 bats, so that the player can be listed. Now what you want to do is, you want to make a leaderboard like this. And let's go over here to the averages. So what you want to do is, you want to put a formula in here so that it auto changes by itself if the batting leaders change. And that's basically the same thing. You just hit the equal sign like this. You come over to the player stats. You come over to where the name is here, where you did your formula, and just hit enter. And what that does is, it pops the first name in that cell. It'll pop the name, and that will always be in that first cell, no matter whose name's in there. Pretty easy. Then you just take it again, and you just take that and you just drag it down to the first 5 spots. Now you don't want them colored like that, so I'm just going to go back, because you have to uncolor them, and I just keep the top colored. And that's pretty much how you do it. Every one of these, you just hit equals. You just hit equals. You go to your player stat page. You come in here and you hit, you want the batting, and it will automatically put it right in there. And what's great about that is, say, once you start putting all them other things in the other individual teams, it'll change. I do a couple at a time, and then I open it up. It will just auto update everything. Looks like a lot of work. Not really too hard. Once you get the first formulas written, you just drag them down. You can do 5, 10, all of them. It doesn't really matter. But the key is always write the first formula, test it, then just come in here to the corner, drag it down. It'll copy the formula down and increase it by the column number as you go down.